Okay, it's 5:30, so we can just go ahead and get started. Okay, can everyone hear me? We're all good? Okay. Um, for our attendees, if you have any questions at any point, feel free to raise your hand and I can unmute you. So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Ava Keck, Economic Development Specialist with the Placer Business Resource Center. Welcome to our Navigating Hiring and Workforce Resources in Placer County webinar. It's one of a range of webinars we're putting on this month in celebration of National Small Business Month. Today, we're going to hear from some great speakers that will be showcasing the services they offer that help support your success and build a strong workforce within your organization. So here is just a really quick overview of our agenda today. So first, my colleague Daniela Stepek, who's on the call, and I will be providing a brief overview on the Placer Business Resource Center and the services we offer. Then we will very quickly hear from the Small Business Development Center, a close partner of ours, on the services that they offer for small businesses. Then we will hear from our workforce partners, Golden Sierra Job Training Agency and the Business Advantage Network, on the services they offer to address your workforce needs. We'll then wrap up with a Q&A for anyone that has questions for our speakers. All right, so before we dive into hearing from Golden Sierra and the Business Advantage Network on hiring resources, we wanted to provide a brief introduction to ourselves and the Small Business Development Center, as we're both great resources to support you and your all-around business success beyond hiring. And we want you to be well informed on what we provide, since your all-around business success will directly support your ability to hire and retain employees. So just a little bit about us. In that photo is me and Daniela, who again is on this call. We are the Placer Business Resource Center, and we're a program run out of the Placer County Office of Economic Development. We are here to support small businesses and get them connected with the resources that they need to succeed. So we offer a range of services, all of which are free, to include webinars like these, one-on-one advising to address your unique needs, hiring assistance through our Business Advantage Network division, which you'll hear from more later on this call, as well as navigating the tricky world of licensing and permitting. So just really quick, we're currently available for virtual appointments on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, as well available for walk-ins at our Rockland office on Wednesdays, and we are closed on Fridays. So just now, my colleague Daniela is going to provide a brief overview of the type of resources we can get you connected with. With so many incredible resources out there, our job is to give you tailored advice on which are most useful based on your unique case. So please, please, please reach out to us so that we can support you in figuring out which one of these are most relevant to you. Oftentimes it's several. But will be just a really great brief introduction into the very wide range of partners and resources that we can get you connected with. So Daniela, take it away.
Thank you, Ava. Hi, everybody. So I'll go through a list of resources categorized, but please know that these are not only the resources that we know of. It's just a very high level, like we're going to go through them really quick, but we have other ones. And like, as Ava said, we can give you like some tailored advice and give you like more specific resources depending on your needs. So we'll start off with the business assistance. So for example, the very first one is SBDC, and I'm not going to steal any thunder from Lisa. So SBDC is here to offer free advising for you guys, and she'll go into more about that. But great resource, a typical partner. And there's a bunch of SBDCs. We just happen to work with Sierra SBDC the most. We also have our chambers of commerce, and there's one for like each city. So Forest Hill, Colfax, Loomis, Roseville, Rockland, and Lincoln all have their chambers of commerce that helps the business community. Their membership is the business community. So definitely access them if you have certain questions or you want to network, and they're great. We also have SCORE, which is the Service Corps of Retired Executives. They also have some free mentoring, and you can find some other information and guidance on their websites as well, but you should definitely sign up if you want some additional help too. And then there's also SBA, the Small Business Administration, that has a credible amount of resources, and they're like a national organization. So it's not really tailored to just our specific region, but we do have like an SBA in Sacramento. So you can get some guidance from folks that are a little bit closer. For trainings and workshops, we have the Placer Business Resource Center, which is ourselves. We have our SBDCs, SCORE, and then the Small Business Administration Learning Center as well has like kind of the guidance of how to start a small business too. All right, next slide, please, Ava. Okay. So licensing and permitting. I don't want to go into too much detail here because we do have upcoming webinars that will actually deep dive into each of these topics. The first one is business licenses. So depending on where you're located, if you're within city limits, you'll actually go through your city's business license department to get a business license. But if you're operating in unincorporated Placer County, you'll actually go through the Placer County Treasurer Tax Collector. So that webinar will be on May 14th, I believe. And then if you are filing a fictitious business name, also known as doing business as, you'll go through our county clerk recorder's office, and that webinar will be on May 28th. And then for permits, one tool that's super helpful is the Cal Gold Permit tool. So you'll go onto their website, you don't have to create an account or anything, but you'll choose your business type, and then you'll choose the county that you're in. And if you're unincorporated, you can choose unincorporated. And then it will populate which depending on your business, it will populate which permits that you might need. So it's a really great tool to just figure that stuff out. But also check in with your local agencies. There's Placer Business Resource Center. There's the planning department for the county. There's your city's planning departments or economic development departments as well. That's super helpful. And then if you're a food business, our environmental health is very helpful because they run the food protection program. And that webinar will be on June 11th to talk about how cottage food permits, seller permits, and how to get into a brick and mortar space and food trucks as well, because we got a lot of clients that want to open a food truck. And then just generally, we have some more like high level, like we're supporting local entrepreneurs. How do we do that kind of thing? So we have the NorCal Entrepreneur Club, the Entrepreneur Development Group through the Roseville Chamber, and then Growth Factory and the Roseville Venture Lab, all great resources that you can access. And if you're not sure where to go or wanting like an introduction, feel free to reach out to Ava or I, and we can get you guys connected. Next, please, Ava. Okay, so funding. We get a lot of questions about funding. Grants is a little bit of a scary word, but there's other options, or not grants, loans. Loans are a scary word, but there's grants out there too. But SBDC has a finance center, so you can get connected with an advisor to help find some wow, I can't say this words. Find financing. And then they also have a Fundico tool that has an inventory of government grants and loans that you can access. It takes a couple minutes to make an account, and you can just see what's on there. The California Office of Small Business Advocate, aka Cal OSBA, has a grant funding page. There's no current opportunities, but you can always look every couple months and see if there's anything new. And the Small Business Administration has loans, so you can see what might be applicable to you if you want to go down that route. And if you're still interested in loans, we also have a small business loan match tool. And sometimes it's hard to find these tools. Feel free to reach out to us again, and then we can send you links and get you connected that way. And then since this is so relevant to what we're talking about today, we have our hiring and workforce, and you'll hear from the Business Advantage Network and Golden Sierra Training Agency. All right, I think that's it for me for resources.
Great, thank you, Daniela. Again, yeah, lots of resources. So we're basically here to just connect you with the right ones and then to also provide personal introductions to representatives with our partners where it's applicable. So just a great resource to have. Please reach out to us. Just a quick shout out, Daniela kind of shouted out already to our upcoming webinars, but we are going to be hearing from our treasurer tax collector on May 14th. Start strong with a business license in unincorporated counties. So this is for any business that wants to learn more about business licensing for if you're conducting your operations within the unincorporated county region. May 28th, registering your fictitious business name. We're going to be hearing from our clerk recorder's office. June 11th, a recipe for food operation success. Daniela came up with that wonderful witty name. So we're going to be hearing from our environmental health folks about the permitting around opening a food operation business. Again, these will all be recorded. So for all of those that can't make it live, these are going to be on our website. And we also are sending all the recordings of our webinars to everybody that had registered but maybe wasn't able to make it. Okay, so that's all from us. So on the screen is our contact information as well as the username to our socials. Please follow us. We're pretty good at staying up to date on there. We share all of our events and we also will share resources or anything that we think would be useful to the small business community. So I will also make sure to send these slides to everyone that's registered, so you don't have to worry about writing it down. I also will be sending out a link to our newsletter. We send out a monthly newsletter, and it is jam-packed with resources, events, and all that fun stuff. So now we are going to briefly hear from Lisa from the Small Business Development Center on what their services are before we get into the more nitty-gritty from Golden Sierra and the Business Advantage Network on hiring specific resources. So Lisa, take it away. Just let me know when you need me to skip forward. You are
I think
me. There you go.
I'm unmuted now. Thank you. And if you could advance to my slides.
Yep, there we go.
Perfect. Okay, great. So it's great to be here. Thank you all for having me and being partners with the Sierra SBDC. It's wonderful to have these partnerships to serve our community. We represent a basket of communities, including Placer, El Dorado, Nevada, Sierra, Plumas, Lassen, and Modoc counties. So really covering sort of the eastern and northern part of the state. And if you could advance to the next slide, please, help people with one-on-one advising primarily. So if you go to our website, I think the URL's on the next page, you can sign up to get free one-on-one business advising. I am a business advisor with the Sierra SBDC and also with the Sacramento Valley SBDC. And we help people at every stage of business, from the idea and planning stage, writing a business plan, figuring out how to do all the things that you need to master to run a business, from QuickBooks and accounting, marketing, fundraising. We also do a lot of work with companies that are already in operation and they're expanding and growing. And I think that's part of where the workforce conversation that's coming in today is helpful. We help people navigate the licenses and permits also. We have a little bit of overlap with the Business Resource Center in that regard as well. Your advisor, your SBDC advisor can help you do a CalGold search and figure out exactly what licenses and permits you need to be legally compliant. And we also have a lot of resources and support with funding. If you need to get a loan, we have access to lenders who offer the SBA-backed, SBA guaranteed loan products, so we can sort of hand walk loan applications through. We also have some very specific programs in the NorCal SBDC that we can refer clients to. If you're in the food business, we have restaurant program. If you're in a tech type business, we can refer you into our Tech Futures group. We also have a finance center. And we also offer Spanish language services. So really try to meet the needs of every type of entrepreneur. And we feel pretty good about our impact. And last year we served 620 clients, started 55 businesses, created 141 jobs, and helped facilitate $31 million in funding. So please look us up, get an advisor, and we'd love to start working with you wherever you're at. I think I have one more slide, but it's just thank you. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. And I hope that we hear from you soon.
Thank you, Lisa. And we'll also include all the information for SBDC and the recap to everyone. So now we will hear from Tammy from Golden Sierra.
Thank you for having me, everybody. And the SBDC has been a great partner to Golden Sierra because we do refer a lot of businesses over to them as well as the Placer Business Resource Center. So I'm here to discuss all the business services we provide. All of our services are no cost. So if you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So we take care of 3 counties. We take care of Placer County, El Dorado County, and Alpine County. We have been around since 1983, so we're also known as one of the best kept secrets in Placer County. We are funded by the Department of Labor, as well as we receive some state of California funding, and we're here to assist businesses to hire, train, and retrain their skilled employees. Next slide. So how can we help? Well, we have several different services. We can help with recruitment support. We can advertise your openings. We can screen resumes for you. We also have a conference room and a boardroom. So if you wanted to do some on-site interviews where you might not be able to do that at your own office, we have those rooms available as well. We also offer hiring incentives and then the training and development. And then we also have other resources for small businesses, as well as if you're having a tough time and you might have to lay off employees, we have layoff and transition support. Next slide. So some of our recruitment support is we advertise the job postings at no cost on our website. We rotate them every couple weeks. We also send those job postings out to a job seeker e-blast. We also, when we advertise those postings, if you don't want to have your information on there for us to for them to apply directly, you can use our jobs at goldensierra.com. And then when the resume comes in, we'll just forward it to you. If you do want us to pre-screen it, we can also pre-screen. We also can offer pre-employment testing. So if you need to test somebody out on their Microsoft Word, Excel, that's something else that we can provide for you. We also coordinate job fairs and hiring events. And the in-person interview space, like I mentioned earlier, is we do have a conference room that you can use. So our hiring incentive programs, we have 2 different programs. We have our work experience program and on-the-job training program. If you can go to the next slide. So our on-the-job, our work experience program is short-term employment opportunities for young adults, but we can also offer that to adults if we have funding available. And what that means is, let's say you have somebody that might have been a stay-at-home parent for 15, 20 years, and now they need to re-enter the workforce. So that's an option where we can do a short-term paid work experience. Golden Sierra pays 100% of the wage, the payroll taxes, and the workers' comp. You just provide the supervision, mentoring of their, so they can have some actual work experience. Next slide. So our on-the-job training program. So if you're looking to hire individuals that might need some training, they can't hit the ground running, which most of the businesses, even if they do hire somebody, they usually can't hit the ground running. There's some sort of training component involved, whereas learning a new software program, procedures, things like that. We can reimburse you 75% of the wage, up to $8,000 if we have funding available. And so what this means is it usually costs a business about $8,000 to train an new employee. So we're just offsetting that and incentivizing for you using the hiring and the training program. Next slide. So training and development that we offer, we have an incumbent worker training. What does that mean? That means if you have some current employees that might need to be upskilled in order to retain them, we can assist you in helping you getting those employees trained. We also have a Metrics. It's a free online learning platform. It's over 6,000 online trainings, and anybody that lives in Placer County can use it. So if you have employees that might need to sharpen up their skills because they're going to maybe be going for a promotion, this is a good place to do the upskill training with the Metrics. Next slide. So we also are offering a free HR hotline, especially to the small businesses because of all the different labor laws that California has and changes every year. It's hard to keep up. So we have a free HR hotline. So if you have an issue and you're not sure what the answer might be, this is a free HR hotline. We also will offer, we also have programs that will offer tax credits and bonding and operational support. If you need any of that, please reach out to me. And we can also provide some local labor market information as well. Next slide. So if you're looking, let's say you might be struggling with business and you're thinking you might have to shut down your business or lay off your workers, please reach out to us because we have a lot of different assistance that we can provide. We can do some layoff aversion strategies to help retain your current workforce. And we can also assist you so hopefully you wouldn't have to lay off those workers. Next slide. So stay in touch, and if you are a business, you can sign up to receive our leads. It's more like the events that are going on, or if we're going to have, we might market these seminars that you can find on our employer page. So go ahead and sign up, and we won't spam you for sure. Thank you for having me. So this is my contact information, my cell phone number. You can call or text, and then my email address, or you can call the main line and they'll be able to track me down.
Great. Thank you, Tammy. Golden Sierra is a great agency, so anyone that's on the call, make sure to take advantage of their services. Now we're going to hear from Francisco from the Placer County Business Advantage Network.
Thank you, Ava. And good evening, everybody. As Ava stated, my name is Francisco Castro. I'm an employee of Placer County. I work as a senior client services counselor in a unit called the Business Advantage Network, as you see on the screen, BAN for short. We provide a variety of services to job seekers as well as employers, and today I'm going to give you some information on the latter. First, however, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who we are. If we can go to the next slide, Ava, please. The Business Advantage Network, BAN for short, as I stated, is a unit within Placer County Employment Services, which in turn is a division of Placer County Human Services. What that means is that the bulk of the customers that we work with are individuals that are receiving public assistance in Placer County, specifically CalWORKS benefits. We're a workforce unit made up of client services counselors whose primary role is to provide job development services to our customers, help them with job placement, and place them on the road to self-sufficiency. So some of the programs that we provide for them, however, also benefit employers, and that's what I wanted to tell you about today. Can we go to the next slide, please? To tell you about these programs, I want to direct you to our website. You see on the screen is placer.ca.gov/BAN. And if we go to the next slide, you'll see when you click on that, when you go into that website, on the left-hand side, you'll see a menu bar, a green menu bar, and at the very top of it, as you see, we have hiring assistance for employers. So when you click on the drop-down menu, I'm sorry, you'll see some of those services are wage reimbursement, job postings, job fairs, job connections. We also provide interview space, a lot of the same services that Tammy spoke about, with a couple of differences. And then there's also information there on work opportunity tax credit. This is a tax credit that is offered to employers when they hire individuals that are receiving public assistance. So I'm going to touch briefly on most of these services today, but I'm going to focus on subsidized employment services. There will be a little bit of time for questions at the end, if you can hold your questions till then so we can have a smoother presentation. So the first thing we have here is our job posting services. Interestingly, this is also the page in our website that is most visited. Every single month, we have the most hit on this website. Basically means that a lot of employers are accessing our website and going there to receive information about posting jobs that they have open through our service that we provide to our customers. So this is a subscription-based service. It is an email service. We have about 6,000 subscribers currently, and a good number of them are also other agencies that provide workforce assistance. So when we publish these flyers, events, what have you, they also share with their customers. So in reality, there's a lot more than 6,000 that are receiving this information. We send a weekly newsletter where we advertise job lists in our community, any upcoming hiring events, as well as community resources to our customers. You can see a sample of it right here. This is a sample of the newsletter that goes out. At the top left, you'll see the job list. When the customer clicks there, they'll direct it to our website. We'll show you that in a second. And on the right-hand side, there's a lot of community resources. And you'll notice that there's hiring events and there's a flyer there that advertises a job fair that was upcoming. And then at the bottom, we also provide information on our social media. And then there's employer tools. I'd like to go to the next slide to show you what the information that available regarding job lists looks like. So they are directed back to our website. And you'll see there at the top, they are divided or organized, I should say, by region. We have Valley region, Foothills region, Tahoe, etc. And there's a variety of jobs that they will find there. If you look at the bottom, there's also jobs in Placer County, and these are divided by city. So you see all this, the major cities in Placer County are found there. So individuals can decide, what cities they want to look at for jobs. I don't have an image of it, but on the last link there is jobs in surrounding areas. And that is organized by federal jobs, state jobs, county jobs, city jobs, and then individual private employers. Can we go to the next slide, please? So in addition to the newsletter, we also send out individual job flyers twice a week. And these are, I mentioned that it's the most frequently visited page. So employers will usually contact me and they say, hey, I have a job lead I'd like to advertise. Can I have you do that? And if they already have a flyer, I'll accept the flyer. We do require some information. So if they're not sure what to include, I'll send them this template. We require the company name, of course, the name of the position, the location, basically what city is this location, is this position in. The hours, meaning if it's full-time or part-time, we do require that they provide salary information. So starting salary or a salary range. Sometimes they'll say, $18 to $23, depending on experience, and we'll post that. And then any other information they wish to provide. We also ask for a job description so the customer knows basically what am I going to do and am I eligible? What does the job entail? What are some of the duties? We ask that they provide information on requirements. Do they need a high school diploma, a bachelor's degree? Any licenses that are required? Do they require a background check or a drug test? Things like that. And it's up to the employer to decide how much they want to provide. And of course, we need an application process. A lot of our employers simply say apply online and they give us a link to their website. And a lot of them just say to apply, send resume to, and then they give us an email. So I can remember who it was that mentioned it, but infrequently we also have employers that ask that the customer apply in person, and then they just provide an address. And lastly, if they have one available, we ask that they give us a copy of their logo so we can include it on the flyer. If we could go to the next slide, I'll show you a sample of what the flyer would look like at the end. So if they don't have their own logo, then I'll just make one up. Usually I'm the one that's making these flyers, and there's all the information that I mentioned before. This is a very simple one. However, if the employer already has a flyer with all that information, and we'll go to the next slide, then we'll just post that flyer. Here's a sample of a flyer for a position with Sierra Pacific Industries. The information was already in the flyer, so then we just copy and paste it onto our forum, and we'll also provide a printable flyer with a PDF format. Can we go to the next slide? Another feature that we have is job fairs and job connections events. So a lot of the similar things that Tammy mentioned. Job fairs, we hold them regularly throughout the years. Usually we collaborate with other agencies, Golden Sierra being one that we almost always collaborate with. If we go to the next slide, we can see some samples in there. Click one at a time. That is our Tri-Counties Job Fair. We advertised that one in English and Spanish. This is from last year. And by the way, we have that one coming up in September. So if you are interested in participating in it, please feel free to contact us. And then the last one is the Job Connections flyer. And those we hold once a month. Usually we have between 1 and 3 employers that come and advertise the jobs they have. I mentioned earlier that they call me and say I have a job post. So if they tell me I have several job posts, and I'll say, well, why don't we invite you to a Job Connections event so you can meet our customers? And when we advertise these events, we advertise them to the entire community. So it's not just our customers that attend. This is one that's coming up on the 29th of May, and we're going to be featuring SMUD. Could we go to the next slide, please? And so we finally get to the subsidized employment program, and I'm going to give you an overview of how that program works. Next slide. So this is basically a wage reimbursement program. It is 6 months long. And here's some of the things that the program provides. We will provide 100% reimbursement. Looks like we went a little far for the first 30 days, up to $3,000. And after that, the reimbursement is based on the number of hours that the customer works. So if they're working 40 hours or more, we will reimburse the employer $1,500 the following month. If it's 30 to 39 hours, we reimburse $1,000. And if it's 20 to 29 hours, we reimburse $500. So that tells you right there that there has to be a minimum of part-time work of 20 hours to qualify for the program. Next slide. Thank you. There are some employer expectations, and you can just keep clicking on those. Eva, I'm sorry I had them one at a time. It kind of slows you down. So, of course, there's a contract that needs to be completed. We need to register them as a county vendor, so we just have a couple of tax forms that you would complete to participate. You do need to provide liability and workers' compensation insurance, and that liability insurance is pretty standard. And also the workers' compensation, that the contract will say standard. However, the state of California requires $500,000 in coverage. The program actually requires $1 million in coverage. And then we also ask for what I'm thinking, or the word slips me, certificate, an endorsement for Placer County. I'm sorry about that. The employee is considered your employee, not ours. We don't pay them. We reimburse you after you pay them. Some of the other requirements, you cannot have had any layoffs in the past 4 months or 120 days. And they cannot be related to you by blood. So your child, your cousin, what have you, they wouldn't qualify for the program. And hard participants cannot replace other employees that are being let go to hire them. Of course, that's not only unethical, but it's illegal. So we wouldn't participate in that. And of course, participants must be offered equivalent wages as anybody else, and they have to be at least minimum wage. One of the biggest things that I have to highlight is the customer or the employee that you hire has to be receiving CalWorks benefits. Can we go to the next slide? This is a copy of the invoice that you would be required to provide at the end of the month. Actually, it's due by the 10th of the following month. It's fairly simple. The person that creates the contract with you will meet with you for about 30 minutes to show you how to complete the invoices and how the process works. We will fill up all the information at the top and at the bottom. So you would just need to complete the body. And again, we would instruct you on that. And that tells you, it kind of breaks it down on how we pay you per week as well as per day. And at the bottom, you just sign it and date it. The great part is that I have employers that really want to complete their invoices, or maybe they have an accountant that does it. And others that say they just send it to me with a signature. I will complete it for you, and I'll send you a copy of it for you to review. Can we go to the next slide? So that is the gist of the subsidized employment program. One of the things that I did want to highlight as well is if you hire someone, usually we refer them to you. So if you send me a job lead and you say, I would love to use your program, then I will advertise it to all our counselors in our offices and say, do you have any qualified customers? If so, send me the resumes. I will send them to you. If you hire somebody on your own and ask me, can I use the program? Well, I can't unless they're on CalWorks, and I can't tell you if they are because that would violate confidentiality. So generally, we will send them to you. Do you have any questions for me about the program at this time? Okay, if not, do we have time for a very quick introduction about our WEX program, or are we out? Okay.
Yes, we have time. Yep.
Great. So we have also a WEX program, just like Tammy mentioned with Golden Sierra. And WEX is basically a volunteer program where we place our customers at different sites throughout the county for the purpose of them gaining job skills. So basically, it's like yes, they are volunteering, so there will be a benefit to the employer, but also it's a benefit to them. So it's like a symbiotic relationship where they are learning new skills. We do ask that you provide a job spec, specifics, with some minimum requirements. We'll make sure that the customer meets them, but the employer also understands that it is a training program. So it's not like they're hiring somebody that's fully qualified for the job. We do focus, as mandated by the state, we only use nonprofit organizations. So if you're a nonprofit agency, you can avail yourself of this program. From time to time, we do what we call an internship, a paid internship, where we will use a for-profit employer. That is specifically when the customer is a student and they are studying to work in that field. For example, we had a customer that wanted to be a dental hygienist, and we were able to contract with a dentist locally so that she could get some training there and some experience. And at the end, they ended up hiring her, so it's a really good thing. I believe that's it for the WIX program. Is there one more slide? Okay. This is all the information I already covered. And the requirements are the same as the subsidized employment program as far as insurance. The only difference is we will provide the workers' compensation. And at some point or other, we'll start also compensating our customers. So even though they're considered volunteers, after a couple of weeks, if they're doing a good job, we'll actually pay them minimum wage for their hours. Any questions on the WIX program for me? Okay, well, if not, you saw our website. If you have any questions in the future, please feel free to contact us. All our contact information is found on the website. Thank you. Thank you, Ava.
Thank you, Francisco. Okay, great. So lots of great information. Again, the Business Advantage Network information along with Golden Sierras, along with the SBDC, it's all going to be included when I send out the recording to everyone that's registered. It's also going to be shared on our socials and our newsletter. Here is a QR code for any feedback for the webinar, as well as a link to our newsletter sign up. I'm also going to provide the links for these in that recap email that I'll be sending everyone. I just wanted to show these really quick if anyone wanted to take a quick scan before we move into Q&A, because this is recorded, so we are going to cut off the Q&A part, so no need to be shy if you have a specific question for our speakers. So I'm going to move ahead into Q&A. If anybody has any questions, please raise your hand and I will unmute you. Yes, Daniela.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I should raise my hand or not. So I actually had two questions for the panelists. First is, are there any upcoming events that, folks who need, employees or anything like that, or like maybe hiring assistants should know about, like that you guys are all going to be at, or, maybe just if you want to plug some events that you're going to be at in general. And then second would be, a lot of the questions that we get through the Placer Business Resource Center is, where do we start? Like, who do we go to first? So just out of curiosity, is there a recommendation of like, oh, let's talk to SBDC first, then BAN, and then Golden Sierra? Or is it everyone at the same time? Doesn't really matter, or, whatever the combination is. So, yeah, thank you.
I can answer some of this. So if a small business calls us and they're looking for a certain resource that we don't provide, we definitely just refer them over to the SBDC. Or if it's a different type of, like, the difference between BAN and us is we can work with all populations, and for their WEX and their hiring assistants, they have to be in the CalWorks program. So we'll refer each other back and forth, and we all work really closely together. And then our biggest job fair is the Tri-County Job Fair. It's going to be held at the Westfield Galleria in Roseville, and it's going to be held on June 18th. It's absolutely free for employers to attend. We are able to host 45 employers, and then we'll have also resources there. And it might be a good place for you guys to have a resource table if you'd like. Did I cover everything, or did we miss something?
I could echo the exact same information. I think Tam and I could be like those twins that say the exact same thing at the same time. Our services are very similar. When somebody contacts me, a customer or an employer, about a potential employee that's not on CalWorks, I just refer them to Golden Sierra. And
Gotcha.
again, we work together in the job fairs, and I'm glad you advertised the upcoming one in September.
Thank you.
I
And
can
then
mention one
yeah.
last thing.
Oh.
I'm sorry. One last thing that I've actually had employers contact me as well about. We have a clean slate clinic that we host monthly. This is more commonly heard as an expungement clinic. So we can take individuals that have past felonies. Employers might have a policy that says we can't hire you if you have this felony, but they can refer them to us and we can create a one-on-one meeting with an attorney to go over their record to see if these felonies can be either dismissed or reduced. So there's an additional benefit.
And I think a lot of the small businesses miss the what we call the WOTC tax credit, the work opportunity tax credit. Because if you do hire somebody that is on the CalWorks program, that is a tax credit that they can have. Also, if somebody's been long-term unemployed, that's another tax credit. And then the biggest tax credit you can receive is if you hire a disabled veteran. And also there is a tax credit if you do hire somebody that has a criminal background. And then on top of that, there's a bonding program that it's like a 6 months insurance policy. So if you're unsure about hiring somebody with a background, come talk to us because there is some options to help protect you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, so since it doesn't seem like we have any questions from our attendees, I'll probably just keep that Q&A portion in the recording so that everyone that watches can get that great information. If there's not any more questions, last chance, we will wrap it up. Okay. All right. Thank you, Francisco. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Tammy. Again, this recording will be shared. I appreciate your time.
I did post my email in the chat, so if you have questions in the future, please feel free to call me. Thank you, Ava.
Thank you, Francisco. All right.
Thank you for
Okay,
having us.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.